Welcome back to Access Carolina. Whether you have medical reasons for going gluten-free or you just like the idea of doing your digestive health a favor, there are ways to enjoy the holidays without sacrificing flavor. Dr. Aimee Duffy is here with some ideas. Happy almost Thanksgiving.
Yay, it's tomorrow. So excited.
Yeah, we're all in the spirit. We're all getting excited. But we're surrounded by food, and you say there are reasons that everybody could look at going gluten-free. What are some of the benefits?
So one of the most important or obvious is like gut health, right? So if you feel like I have bowel irregularities, you have some indigestion, bloating, those could be signs that you may want to avoid some gluten. Another one is just kind of fatigue and brain fog. I mean, if you have a reaction to something and your body has to work hard to deal with it, it just wears you out.
So somebody who's just exhausted all the time, brain fog, that
you might want to think about, is your diet doing it? And going gluten-free is a number one thing that you can start. The other thing is that things that have gluten in it, made with flour, are full of carbs. The pasta, the cookies, the bread, the cakes, you know, so eating a lot of carbs is going to wear you out after a while too, and make some, my brain's not working at 2 in the afternoon kind of experience. Then you can get deeper into autoimmune stuff like inflammation, skin issues, arthritis, joint pain. All those can be signs that you might be reacting to gluten as well. Well,
and gluten-free used to be kind of a tough thing for somebody to be, but now we've come a long way, and we've learned a lot of things.
So much easier. And you can find a lot of stuff in the store that's labeled gluten-free. I think the easiest thing is to think about things that are naturally gluten-free anyway. So vegetables, fruits, your proteins, your meats, your nuts, things like that, they don't have any gluten in them, so you don't really have to worry about that. Plus, they're going to be healthier anyway, less processed.
Sticking with the whole foods, anything less processed, you're going to feel better about all those things we talk about. There are also some gluten-free swaps that can help us to replace some of the traditional staples with maybe gluten-free alternatives. Or some of those?
So definitely flours. When you're baking, you can use almond flour, coconut flour, tapioca flour. Those are all fairly easy to get these days. And then pastas
those flours work just as well?
They do. I mean, they're a little bit thicker, but you know, there's ways to kind of play around with it and swap some things out. We were talking about mac and cheese, making a cheesy cauliflower instead. So, you know, you're still getting the cheesy experience of something, but it doesn't have to be full of gluten and carbs.
Yep. And lastly, you say be label savvy as well. What are we looking for on the food labels?
There can be some things that are tricky in there that have gluten in them that you may not notice. So anything that says, soy can have gluten in it. It's kind of confusing, but rye, things like that. So you want to, if you're really trying hard to be gluten-free, you want to look at something and make sure the label says gluten-free.
Okay.
Because it may not be obvious.
Overall, one of the big messages here is that gluten-free doesn't have to mean that you're sacrificing flavor. And these are an example. The almost flour sugar cookies, really a testament to this. They smell wonderful. How did you make them?
Yeah, so we start, you can eat. So we start with some almond flour, and then I added salt and baking soda in there. Then you're going to throw in some softened or preferably melted, it just didn't say melted, coconut oil. So you're going to get some good fats in there. This is maple syrup with some vanilla. I like maple syrup versus honey because honey tends to burn a little bit more. So all of this, not only are we being gluten-free, but it's a lot less carbs as well. So once you mix this all up, it's going to end up being, you know, sort of like a hard cookie, and you're just going to turn it into a little ball, then flatten it on your cookie pan and cook it for about 8 minutes. It comes out like that. I threw some frosting on with sprinkles to be fun, but I mean, that's a great cookie.
I was going to say, great cookie. Nobody knows the difference. So, you know, just small changes can lead to big improvements in health. So you're big on finding those healthy alternatives. Dr. Aimee Duffy, we appreciate it. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Excellent. People can find Dr. Aimee Duffy at Carolina Integrative Medicine in Clemson, and we'll have your website in this segment.